Hello there. So today I want to talk more about the Republican Party against Facebook and Google and all that stuff. I'm hearing them talking about how dangerous it is, the power that of Facebook and Google and all that stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I agree. They're very powerful. They are probably, as they say, one of the most powerful things ever. However, becoming a Republican myself, I'm hearing rather conservative. I consider myself to be specifically more conservative than Republican. But I'm hearing Republican people, conservative people, talking about the fact that the more power the government has over the people, the more stuff they can take from the people. The more the government can give, the more they can take away. This is something we're completely against and don't want. How does that not apply here? Why is it we go to the government here and the same thing doesn't apply? That the more power they have, the more they can control. It seems to me it's basically the same. And and here you're talking about one of the greatest powers in your mind that they're talking about is it's in their mind. They're saying this is one of the greatest powers. We have to get the government to regulate or something. This we can't let this stand. It's just not good. It's immoral. It's bad. It's wrong. Give it to the government. And they're talking about for years simultaneously. They've been talking about while talking about this stuff. They're also talking about how incompetent the government is and how bad the government is, how evil it is, how the government can destroy us, and we want to minimize the government as much as possible. So give them all our power. This makes no sense. Give them the greatest power, but we're for small government. It's one thing to say, like I've heard the argument about the military, how we have a great, strong military, and the bigger the military, the bigger the government. That's not a good argument because that's not government. That's protection. That's something the government funds, but it's not particularly government. Government is more the powers from the government directly. I guess it is government, but it's not. When we're talking about big government, we're talking about more government programs over our lives. Army is something we need regardless. It's not. It has nothing to do with when we're talking about big government having a humongous army. We've got the biggest army in the world. That doesn't change the size of a big government concept. A big government concept being having more and more things that the government has their hands in. We want as little of that as possible. But the Republicans apparently want the government to have Facebook and Google. And they want that. They think for a second they're going to regulate that. Okay, maybe they'll start nicely. Yeah, no problem. We'll take it off your hands. We'll regulate. We'll get rid of all these things you don't like. And then, I don't know, 5, 10 years maybe. By the way, all these things you guys didn't like, we actually realize these are good moral things, and we're actually going to, like, demonetize all you people because you guys are a bunch of Nazis. We're gonna now make it a legal thing that you're Nazis. We're gonna put it on our website. I got a thing on my car one time. I saw it said, "I'm not allowed to park here." And to find out when you're allowed to park, go to Facebook. When you're allowed to park, or you're not allowed to park here, something to do with trash or whatever it is. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm never gonna pay for a ticket that I have to go on Facebook to find out where I'm allowed to park and not allowed to park. We have to actually have it that there's a sign there that says you cannot park here. I thought that was insane when I saw that. I don't know how many of you people actually saw that yourselves. I got that and it blew my mind. I will refuse to pay for a ticket. I have to go to Facebook for. Facebook is not a right. The internet is not a right. This is not something the government should be controlling. It should be privatized. It should be sorted out through the people. There's other things we can do other than go to government and complain about it. The left knows how to get out there and protest and march and do all that stuff. Let's do that, protest against these companies and make them have to change their ways. However, whatever process you can do other than making the government control these things. There has to be a way to to make deals or whatever it is. You can cut something or another. And if you can't, then you have to come to a conclusion here. You have to figure out, do we really want the government controlling all this stuff? Or are we going to let it be and try fighting with our power? Try making a power of our own on the Republican conservative side that's just as powerful and wait for that to work because maybe the risk of the government taking over these things is too much, too high a risk. I would argue it's too high a risk. Honestly, I don't know. I don't trust for a second if the government has their hands on Facebook and Google that they're just not going to, in a few years or so, regulate everything from the Republican Party and the Conservative Party and push things through the internet that's literally going to be controlling our lives. You see all these futuristic movies about the future with computer and technology taking things over and the machines rise against us. This will be the machines rising against us. It's the government get their hands on Facebook and Google. I'll tell you that. That's what it's going to be, and it's probably, if that happens from the Republicans pushing it, will be the biggest mistake the Republican Party ever made. Okay, um, it's really, they're just falling hook, line, and sinker into the left's hands. This is what the left wants. The left wants big government. They're out there outright for communism, outright for socialism, outright for all these things. That's big government. And the Republicans are like, no, we're not. We're against all this stuff, but take all our power. It's mind blowing to me. It's insanity. This is no way. This in no way is a winning tactic. This is not something that's going to work. And I cannot understand for the life of me why all these Republicans think we should just get the government like it's nothing. Like it's no big deal. Like it's not a dangerous thing. It is one of the most dangerous things. They're always talking about a civil war is happening. The left has this and the right has that. These people can't do war. These people can't fight. They don't know what they're talking about. You get some police that will take care of the issues when there's too much violence going on. That's it. And if the left gets more power, this will give them the most power. Then we'll have what to worry about. This is going to be significantly much worse if this actually happens than anything else the Republicans are imagining is actually happening now with a cold civil war that they claim is on the way that I don't trust. I don't think for a second that's right. I don't think for a second people even know how to like actually or would consider. I think if it gets to the point where there's a cold civil war actually brewing right now, more people are going to come to their senses, I would imagine, and not do that. And then actually, I'm sure there'll be a minority of people, a small amount of people rioting and acting crazy. But I think there's also enough police and military and sensible people out there to actually like realize this is too crazy. We're not going to do this. That's what I believe. I have faith in this country. I have faith that this is not going to happen. I don't have faith the government's not going to control everything and make these people insane and do things like this. Okay, anyhow, that's what I got to say about that. Like, subscribe, share, join my Facebook group, America on Values. All the best. Thanks for watching.